All right, if you're just starting modeling, a common occurrence that you might run into is an error message that might say unable to carry out command because of non-manifold geometry or non-manifold vertices. So in this object, if we look at it, there was an error that came about if you were trying to bevel a certain edge. And if we look at this, we can pull this in and you can see it's not attached to this edge here. So somewhere along the way they got detached. And then if we also grab all of the edges and move it back, you can see here there's some extra lines that have been kind of added, and this is kind of common, and it usually happens to start off with if you're extruding, you accidentally double extrude something. Maybe you press the button twice, or you extrude something and then you go to undo it, and instead of going all the way back to the undo, let's say I extrude it now and I go and pull it out a little bit and I say I want to go undo this, and I hit undo. Let me go forward once. Let's say I redid this and then I lock that in, and then I say I want to undo this this extrude. So I'll go back once. That's not undoing the extrude, that's undoing the moving it back. You have to go back another step where it says undo poly extrude. Now that has undone the extrude. So sometimes you don't undo as far back as you should. To check that, you can always grab the face that you should have extruded and make sure it's back at where it was originally. And then you can also make sure you're just not accidentally double extruding. But it's just a common occurrence that this is going to happen. If this does happen, just grab the object at the object level, so it's everything, and then come up to Edit Mesh, and then Merge. And if you bring this up, you can have little, there's options that can come up. But if you just go straight to Merge, this distance threshold is going to be what, if any, what was happening there is there were some shared edges totally overlapping. You can have faces that totally overlap, or vertexes that totally overlap. And if you do this, it'll get rid of all of that. It'll merge any of the geometry together. And if you increase this, you can see it's going to start merging all of these points together as one, and we don't want that, but 0.01 is a good default, especially starting out at the normal measurements of a scene, which is 1 centimeter. Normal, the standard in Maya is 1 centimeter. So 0.01 is a good measurement. So it's all of these little vertices that were being shared are going to be now combined, which is going to get rid of the non-manifold geometry. And if I grab this face again and try to move it, you can see this, right? This geometry goes with it. It's not being, there's nothing there, so it's gotten rid of all of that. So now if we wanted to, I could go in and bevel everything. Another option to use is to go to, I always use merge first. It usually handles everything better. Another operation you can do is go to mesh, cleanup, and then make sure four-sided faces is unchecked, so you're not tessellating everything. You want to keep the quads, remember. But you can do like non-planar faces and fix that. You can have lamina faces. That's going to be faces sharing all edges, so if a face is doubled up. And you can see here it says non-manifold geometry. You can check that, and then when you apply it, anything that what doesn't fit, like down here, what it's done is just automatically cut this. I don't like to use the cleanup tool to fix ingons. I like to use the multi-cut tool because it's not really precise. But in this case, it can get the job done, especially on geometry. You might have something very complicated and you can't find what you need to, and it's not that important. You can just let the cleanup do its job. But a lot of times if you use cleanup first, it still won't get rid of some of the non-manifold geometry. So I would say maybe try both of them, the cleanup tool and then the merge. The merge is always getting rid of the non-manifold geometry for me. Sometimes when I'm using cleanup, it does not get rid of the non-manifold geometry as well, even though there's an option for it right there. All right, so cleanup and merge, two tools that you can use to get rid of non-manifold geometry.